Hey, welcome to this short presentation of the Color Code Personality Science for Youth Zone South Africa. And before we get into the meat of the whole story, this is me. My name is Klaus Wallenberg. I'm a doctor of naturopathy by trade, which is a development out of the chiropractic tradition. I'm also a certified Color Code interpersonal skills trainer, and this is the role I'm here today for you. In addition to that, I am a certified Master Guide with the Master Key Experience. I've been doing functional training for years with clients, and I'm also working with nutrition for people who want to just increase their health and feel better, avoid the perils of civilization. So a couple of my other websites would be jointmobility.eu, which is a mobility training site. We have revolutionizeyourhealth.eu for you to check out, which is the health program I have developed and am conducting all over the world. And my main site is klauswallenberg.com. So if you want to know more about me, that's where to go. All right, let's get started. Everybody agrees that all life is about relationships, and you can go so far as to say that the quality of the life we lead is 100% dependent on our ability to develop and maintain relationships with other people. Most people agree that our relationships are the most important part of our lives and what actually makes up the core of our existence. So let us get into some facts here. 85% of the people who get fired are actually fired because of relationship problems, not because they are bad at what they are supposed to do. So this once more points out the importance of being able to relate to other people. And the average manager spends a lot of their time, about a quarter of their time, resolving personality conflicts instead of doing what they are supposed to do at work. So basically, if we can improve our relationship, we can spend a lot less time here and we can be more effective in what we are supposed to do. Looking at intimate relationships, unfortunately 40% of the first marriages fail, 67% of second marriages, and 74% of third marriages, which is kind of surprising, as we should get better at what we are doing. In this case, unfortunately, people get better at divorcing than staying married. So let's take a look at what we can do about this. What we're looking at here is the driving core motive, and this is what separates the Color Code from most other personality programs. Most programs look at behavior, and they will assign you a personality type that derives from what you do. What we do different here is we dig deeper, we dig down to the driving core motive, and we assign you a personality type based on why you do what you do. And everybody knows that we can learn behaviors, but our innate motive is something we carry with us through our lives. So this is just a very optimal form of looking at this part. I want you to think about this as a change of paradigm. We are not our behaviors. Our behaviors are a result of who and what we are. And this switch, when you really understand this is as huge as back in the days when everybody thought the earth was flat, and then it got proven it got round. It was very hard to believe, and it was very hard to fathom for people in the beginning. And in the same way, you need to give yourself time to really embrace this new way of looking at ourselves and our relationships, because behaviors is like the tip of the iceberg. It's what we show to the world, while our motive is like the rest of the iceberg, the part that's hidden under the surface for people not to see. And many times this does not really reflect in the behavior to the fullest because of different things we have learned to apply through our lives. So, for any relationship to work, every part of that relationship needs to take 100% responsibility. So, if you're in a relationship with anybody, may it be a friendship, may it be an intimate relationship or a work relationship, it's not enough that you do 90% of the responsibility part and the other part does 10%. No, everybody needs to take 100% responsibility for their part of that relationship. And this is only possible, it's only possible if we want to accept that responsibility. And it is so much more effective if we understand where the other person is coming from, and that's where we're going right now. So we got 4 colors: red, blues, whites, and yellows, and there is no difference in quality. It's only a difference of motive. So any color can do any kind of work. There's no color that's better or worse than another. But we have to start with the reds because they think they are better. So, healthy reds are the lifeblood of humanity. They are the movers and shakers of society. These are the people who get things done. And by the way, Dr. Taylor Hartman is the founder of the Color Code Personality Science. So there's quite a lot of quotes of Dr. Hartman in here. The red motive type comes from the core motive of power. This is not in the meaning of power over others. You have to understand this as a way of getting from point A to point B in the fastest and most efficient way. So the natural talents of a red is leadership and vision. This is what they bring to the table. And the strengths are, of course, this is just a few mentioned here. They're responsible people, focused, confident. They are leaders, and they are very proactive. And proactivity comes from vision. So a red person often knows how life is supposed to look like 10 years from now. Limitations on the other side they are often selfish, insensitive, arrogant. They are always right, and they are impatient with other people and with themselves. So if we're looking at our relationships with reds, we have to look at needs and wants. And reds, they want us to present logically with facts and figures. If we do that, we get their attention. We also need to be brief, direct, and specific. What we shouldn't do is being slow and indecisive, and definitely not take their arguments personally, because they come from the logic side of things. They don't really consider the emotional part. So, famous reds here. You will probably be surprised about the lady to the right, but Mother Teresa was very red. She was, do not get in her way, or she will walk right over you, because she had her goal, she had her vision of ending poverty and hunger in the world, and nothing was going to stop her. So if we look at bumper stickers, reds would keep on their cars. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. It's a very red statement. And I'll try being nicer if you try being smarter. It's a little rough, but this is very much how a red person operates and thinks. A quote that a red person really would sign off to is by Peter Drucker: "The best way to predict your future is to create it." Getting over to the blues. Dr. Hartman says that life cannot bestow on anyone a more gratifying reward than the sincere appreciation and trust of a blue friend, employer, or family member. This is so true. I really have a lot of blue friends in my life, and I cherish them because of the quality they bring to the relationships, because a blue person comes from the core motive of intimacy, not in the sexual meaning, but in the meaning of having very close and real relationship with other people. So you know how people always stop and they ask you, how is it? and then they just expect you to say fine, and then they move on. So a blue person is the one who actually sticks in there and waits for the answer. They bring quality and service to the table. That's their natural talents. If we're looking at blue strength, they are caring people. They are very sincere, intuitive, loyal, and thoughtful. And if you think about it, these are foundational traits for building good and close relationship with other people. On the other hand, on the flip side of that, blues are often self-righteous, they are overly sensitive, perfectionists, worry-prone, and they got unrealistic expectations. And this is both for themselves and for others. So be aware of that. Blue needs and wants. Do for blues, show them appreciation once, because they do that and they really deserve it, and seek to understand them. This is the relationship part. The more sincere you are in understanding them and helping them understand you, the better the relationship with a blue will work. Never try to make a blue feel guilty. They are very good at doing that themselves. And don't really expect them to be spontaneous. When it comes to relating to blue, it's very important to stick to the plans as far as possible. Famous blues here. And, some people would think that Oprah Winfrey would be more a red personality. But one clue is that if she was red, she wouldn't have lost the same weight as many times. She's very blue. She's very quality and service driven. Same with Walt Disney. I mean, his motto was to deliver perfect entertainment to children of all ages. And of course, Abraham Lincoln, probably the most liked president of the United States ever. Blue bumper stickers. Those of you who think you know everything are really offensive to those of us who actually do. And leave me alone. I'm having a crisis. You don't need to fix a blue who doesn't feel their best right now. They're very strong people. They fix themselves. They just want you to know. They just want to know that you care. So give them a hug and let them heal themselves. William Shakespeare had Polonius say in his play Macbeth, "This above all, to thine own self be true." And this is very true for blues. They often have the largest library on personal development literature, and opposite to most other colors, they've actually read all those books. So they are very quality driven. Remember that. Quality and blue is almost a synonym. All right. So let's get to the whites. And whites offer us all a model for gentle human dignity, according to Dr. Hartman. They come from the core motive of peace. This is not the opposite of war. Peace in this case means being in harmony, feeling calm in the midst of the storm. They bring the natural talents of clarity and tolerance to the mix, and they bring the strength of being kind, even-tempered, objective, diplomatic, and inventive. These are very, very pleasant people to be around. Limitations, on the other hand, and this we need to consider this. They are indecisive. They are often silent, stubborn. They avoid conflict, and these two work together, right? If you want to avoid conflict, don't speak up. Just be silently stubborn. They are often unexpressive. It's the same thing here. They want to stay calm and in harmony, and they are often seem to be detached or uncommitted. Needs and wants of a white. They need us to accept their individuality. They work best if you can create an informal, relaxed setting. Never be cruel or insensitive to a white. Sometimes they invite to it because they do not really react. So we want to, it's easy to try to confront them or provoke them. Never do that. It will come back and bite you later. And do not force immediate verbal expression. If you're in a meeting and you want feedback from a white, ask them to write an email on the morrow and give them give them the time to really think about the matter, and they will give you the best summary of the meeting and the best points of action that you will get from anybody. If you try to get that verbally in the moment, you will get nothing worthwhile. Famous whites, well, Yoda is probably the most white personality type you can find in fiction. Albert Einstein is an inventor, and he was doing his best work when he was left alone. So this is kind of the combination of the two would be the archetype here. White bumper stickers. If I pretend to agree, will you go away? If you're in sales and ever encountered a white, this is something you're very familiar with. And also this one here, I'm not deaf. I'm just ignoring you. This is very, very white. So they won't argue, they won't fight you, they just let off reacting until you give up and go and bother somebody else. Pope John the 23rd said, "See everything, overlook a great deal, and correct a little." This is a very, very nice advice for people who want to have a calm and harmonious situation. That's white. All right, last caller here, the yellows. And as Hartman says, happy is as happy does. Yellow people love themselves because they know exactly what they love to do and always finds the time to do it. So if the blue is all work and no play, this is the flip side of that, which drives some of the other colors absolutely crazy. Yellow come from the core motive of fun, and this is not having a party all the time. This is enjoying the moment, living in the present moment. They bring the natural talents of enthusiasm and optimism to the table, and their strengths, they are happy people, sociable, spontaneous, charismatic, and inclusive. And yellow really are happy. Blues think it's drugs. It's not. Yellows wake up happy and are ready to seize the day. On the flip side of that, they are uncommitted in their core color. They are disorganized, often afraid to face facts. They are unfocused and impulsive. So, very important to consider this with yellows. Needs and wants. They need us to take a positive, upbeat approach to things and offer them a lot of praise and appreciation. That's a great motivator to get yellows to do more of the stuff we want them to do. Never ignore them. They are just going to get more and more obnoxious, and they will demand your attention. And don't expect them to dwell on problems, because it's just not in their nature. They will move on and go for something else in the moment. Famous yellows. Have a few of them here. Bill Clinton, he didn't have a clue what was happening in the White House, and he was more focused on fun than politics. So you will probably see a lot of these people acting in the restaurant business. They like jobs where you can get in and out pretty easily. So looking at yellow bumper stickers, hard work may not kill me, but why take the chance? I guess you might know somebody like this. Shiny objects distract me. Yellows believe in the better offer theory, so they are committed until something better shows up. It's not personal. That we need to remember. Oscar Wilde said that to live is the rarest thing in the world, and most people exist. That's all. Yellows are great teachers in how to actually live life in the moment, and this is the gift they bring to the table and the rest of the world. Mahatma Gandhi once said that you must be the change you wish to see in the world, and I like to talk about self-discovery first, self-development later, because the better we know ourselves, the easier it is to find out what parts we can develop to be of better service to our fellow human beings and the world. So here, what is going on next? What can we do? Get your full profile. And we got a link here that gives you a $10 discount on that profile from the Color Code, because the better we know ourselves, the better we know what to work on, and the better service we can deliver to the rest of humanity. We can do a comprehensive Color Code workshop. This is a few hours of work where we actually go through the colors more in detail and help you understand your color and how to relate to other colors. You will learn the quick coding, which is a way to assess the core motive of the people that you meet, and thereby be able to relate better to them, even if they haven't done the test themselves yet. And then we can walk through the way of learning to be better and to access the strength of your secondary color. Start working on the character, because we are born with a color, but we are not stuck with the limitations of that color. That's where the personal development parts get into the mix. So this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for watching. Once again, my name is Claes Wallenberg, and I hope to see you at some point live and walk you through the workshop part of this program. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Peace be the journey.